Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast.
Good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 62 of the Force Choke Podcast. Across from me, we have
Micah.
Next to him,
Tim.
Then we got
Sarah.
And I'm Lewis. So we're going to bring you a great show today. Don't forget to follow us on all the social medias. Force Choke Podcast. And we're on
Facebook.
And
Instagram.
Instagram, Twitter.
Oh, I think you said Tinder. I was like, I thought we were going to give that up for Tim, but...
And hopefully soon TikTok.
Actually, we are on TikTok
now.
now.
We're on TikTok?
We're on TikTok now.
Oh, geez.
Yes. So look for the Force Choke Podcast on TikTok as well.
I still don't fully understand TikTok.
Nate to thank for that.
Yes. Nate is our
Thank you, sir.
administrator
Of
TikTok for us. So he is an extension of the Force Choke Podcast. We appreciate him being part of the team on TikTok for us. So if y'all have any questions about that, make sure that you ask us. You can ask us any questions today as well. But let's get right into it. Tim, you wanted to start off with Taika Waititi.
Waititi.
He did the last episode.
He did 2 episodes of Mandalorian, right?
2 episodes?
Yeah, he
did.
did. He did the last episode of Mandalorian,
which was excellent.
The last chapter?
The last chapter. Mm-hmm. And I believe he did the one. He either did episode 2 or episode 4, before or after the where they're trying to get.
Yeah, because I know chapter 3 was Deborah Chow.
Yeah. Okay.
The
yes.
one he's going to do Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. Because that was the one, where he's turning into the child and he decides to
And then they're all after him, right? Yeah. So
what about?
I gotta get that right. Anyway, yeah. They broke the news.
Sorry.
They broke the news that he's gonna be doing a Star Wars movie.
Who broke
the plans? Are with Disney, of course. Yeah. So he's in talks to direct a Star Wars movie. We don't know what it's gonna be yet. No word on.
But it's gonna be cool.
But I'm thinking it's most likely gonna be Rian Johnson's trilogy of movies that he signed on to do, because he's not going to...
Who? Rian Johnson?
He's not going to direct all of them.
Who that?
So you're saying Rian Johnson's going to write it? Taika Waititi's going to direct it?
He's going to write the whole... everything. He's going to write the entire story. Mm-hmm. Rian Johnson's going to be working on that. He may direct the first one.
You're confusing me, Tim.
He may direct the first one, and then he'll give the next movie to Waititi. Or perhaps even the last one.
So Rian Johnson's going to have control over this.
Mm-hmm.
And Taika Waititi.
Yes.
But Taika Waititi's going to direct and write one of them.
Yes.
That's your...
He's going to direct one of them. Mm-hmm. I don't know about write.
Oh, okay.
He's on board to direct, not write.
Micah doesn't like that. His face is contorting in so many different ways.
What? Yeah. Given direction, I'm sure he has his. If they like the way he did the season finale in Mandalorian, mm-hmm. he's gonna come with that same. They brought him on board for that, so he's gonna have that same kind of. No matter what their writing is,
the wit,
the flavor that he brings to the table. Yeah,
that's with an A, right? Flavor.
He comes with that big clock hanging from his chest.
I mean. I can see why they're doing it, so it's kind of like it takes focus almost off of Rian Johnson, mm-hmm. so people can focus on Taika Waititi, but I don't know, I just kind of don't see that. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't know how likely that is.
Yeah.
If anything, it might be right now, it's like, oh yeah, they're going to work together. I mean, I know they haven't said that, mm-hmm. just simply the possible mm-hmm. emergence of him, but I think if anything, it's more so like, okay, we're getting good feels about this. It's... Taika's trilogy, not Rian Johnson anymore.
What do you think, Sarah?
I think that would be fine.
Yeah, with Rian Johnson.
With Rian just...
Oh, cutting him out?
Yeah.
Like a cancer.
I mean, if you just wrote it... Well, no. If you just wrote it and
just wrote everything
directed
and then let other people direct.
Because I like his style.
Rian Johnson?
Taika.
Oh, Taika.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we
Well,
sure?
Yeah.
Are we sure you're?
Okay, so
Yes. No.
He's the
What?
one that got Baby Yoda punched. I'll tell you that much.
yeah. So
No,
we're
but
looking forward to
I
more.
love that.
That's what made us
He's
hate
really
Jason Sudeikis because I love
He
Jason
pissed off a lot of
Sudeikis.
fans for doing that, but he also gained fans for creating this whole, it's not controversy, but it's like, he's having fun with the show.
Yeah. I mean that, and even too is because okay, you have this new precious thing. How much do you love it? Boom. It's like
I know. I was like, you son of a...
Yeah. He's like, what are you going to do about it? He's like, I'm going to save him later. Let me have, let me do what I can. So,
did he just hit that? Oh, shit. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of people pissed off at me for saying that, but I mean, I thought it was perfect.
It was. It was a really great moment. You know what I mean?
I'll get death throes now.
It was a great moment. But you know what I thought sprung out of that as well too, and some people are talking about it. I think Tim's mentioned it. I don't know if you've mentioned it. Mm-hmm. But having maybe like a show or a movie spin-off of like these two stormtroopers.
Oh, that'd be funny. Just their
they're just
day-to-day work lives.
I would so love that comment.
Turn it into like a little short.
And then the ultimate culmination would be that.
Instead of Star Wars being this one genre epic storytelling universe, turn it into, give them an extra genre of just comedy and them two troopers.
They could do it.
Doing a show.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be really awesome. They may have inadvertently created something that could
in
happen.
5 minutes, dude. It's just 5 minutes of dialogue, maybe less.
Just like how he has a gun and he's all.
Yeah.
And you hear some little
you hear a little rattle in it.
But back to Takia.
And they kept missing their target.
Yeah. Back to Takia, I think you're good with that then.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if I think we've mentioned it before. Rian Johnson seems like, and we've talked about Knives Out off camera and off air, that you've seen it, Sarah, and Tim has seen it. I haven't seen it. Mike hasn't seen it.
I've been meaning to.
Good. Yeah, but from the previews looked amazing, and you guys are saying you need to go watch it. He can write a really great story.
Yes.
But can
when
he
it's
write
all his,
a really
when it's
great
all
Star
his
Wars
baby
story?
and nobody else is involved, he can just he can do that.
What if it was a Star Wars whodunit?
Can I just say one thing before?
No, it's Micah's turn.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
No, I just want to say one thing about Knives Out.
Okay.
Please don't give specifics.
With no context. Maybe there's a little bit of context. I'm so excited about the movie.
Well, then just do the little earpluggy thing.
I don't know.
Did Tim, you just grunted?
Yeah.
He grunted.
I want to talk about it with you guys, but y'all haven't seen
I'm
it.
impressed. What were we talking about?
Well, we're saying that.
We're talking about Knives Out.
Okay, I think we've mentioned in the past, if you try, and I know it's kind of difficult, but if you try to watch episode 8, The Last Jedi, by itself, not really strung off to anything. I mean, yeah, for the most part, there's a couple of things still I didn't necessarily care for, but I think for the most part, episode 8 was a good film. But being that it was the sequel to episode 7, and it already kind of had, I know Abrams made it to the point where he wanted to leave it open to kind of give the next director discretions to take in which direction they wanted to. I just felt like it veered off too much from the story.
Yeah.
So having said that, I'm willing. Maybe that's why they're bringing it. I'm willing to give him another chance, but I think part of that is it maybe Star Wars wants to give another Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy wants to give him another chance, but maybe they want to have someone else do a film first to keep the fan base still okay. So then they'll warm up to the idea of Rian Johnson in the future sometime.
You might have something there.
But maybe his trilogy because again, it's going to be original in nature. I mean, obviously, it will be part of of the expanded. What we will now know as the Star Wars universe, if you will.
Yeah.
The canon universe.
What do they call it? The High Republic.
The what?
That's the rumor, is that it's going to be 300 or 400 years prior to the rise of the Empire, right? Which is called the High Republic, when it's like the Republic was at its peak, I guess, dominance.
At its highest
Level of prosperity.
Do you think a lot of these run-offs or spin-offs are really going to do that then? Because maybe they don't want to... Maybe they have an idea still going forward in the future. Like, say we continue on the story with, let's say, Daisy Ridley, continue with Rey, but obviously, let's say 5 years in the future. Mm-hmm. But all the other spin-off trilogies, if we will be conducted in the past, so they don't, like, set their feet in the ground. I guess.
That could possibly
would dictate that story. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of past you can cover.
Yeah.
Despite Kathleen Kennedy saying there's no source material. But she just typed it. Listen here, you little.
You should have it all laid out right here.
We don't have enough room on this table.
It's gonna be Charlie. It's gonna be Charlie from It's Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh, look at here, like with all this shit on.
the
Yeah. Because and the reason I said that is because the suspected High Republic 300-400 years prior to the Empire, they had also talked about doing a Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah,
which we know is significantly further in the past than that.
Got scrapped.
So I mean, that would be interesting if they still have an idea moving forward, potentially something they don't want to mention yet.
Yeah.
But everything else will be kind of in the past, so it's just kind of like not setting a certain direction in stone. Kind of like the upset we had with going from 7 to 8 and the direction that took.
Do you think this is like a Hail Mary pass from Rian Johnson? Like, no, I'm still a part of this, guys. I'm still part of this kind of thing. Or do you think this is true?
I think this is. They just have a bond. Kathleen Kennedy has a strong bond with Rian Johnson. Like, she loves him, and not like that. Maybe she does.
That's what love happens, Sarah.
I don't know.
But
it should be really race.
I do that too. You're like,
to not
biting lower lip. Kind of low.
But I mean, yeah, because I think they want to go forward with him. Period. Like I think probably Lucasfilm, and especially what you said to him, Kathleen Kennedy, they like him. But right now, I think they're trying to get feelers. Like an example, remember when we had that leaked.
It's like Jerry
poster?
Jones can't get rid of the coach.
We're not talking about
like
football.
Garrett.
Like that.
Like
that
family bond. Anyway, go
I
ahead.
didn't even understand the Hail Mary metaphor.
Hail Mary football. We
The
hear
leaked
the
poster
Jerry
that we
Jones.
the leaked poster that we had for episode 9, and we were all like, "Is this real?" Blah blah blah. And then so much hate came out about it. Then they just kind of like,
okay, get rid of that.
And then we saw the movie. We're like, wait a minute.
All these
creatures that we thought were bullshit that we had seen in other or representations of them, like in other past, say, Disney projects or whatever, or fantasy projects. They're in the film. Mm-hmm. We're like, oh, that was probably real.
Yeah.
And they just realized that everyone fucking hated it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. You know what I think is that, and Trent Westbrook, our
beloved friend.
Yes, friend and
hail
the show. Exactly. He mentioned like, hey, the sequel trilogy almost did like cutouts and pasted instead of having somebody actually like do a hand drawing / painting of the movie posters. Yeah. And maybe that's why people were giving it grief. I bet you if it was the exact same, but
an actual
artist rendering, people probably would have been cool with it.
I feel that.
You know what I mean?
Because we had that, I have a poster for episode 7, and then they had it for 8.
Yeah.
And then you go look back all the classics, for the original trilogy and everything. Like all of them are like works of art.
Yeah, exactly.
And this one, it's just
There's that meme where like it's the same as Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
And, There's another one. It's like the same exact.
Dark Phoenix.
Dark
Yeah.
Phoenix. Yeah.
I remember when I saw the Aladdin one, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
They're all
The same thing.
side by side.
The theatrical
The
poster.
same
Yeah.
colors,
The same,
scheme.
Dude, the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
exact same colors.
It's just copied and pasted on a background.
It's like,
Same
should we worry
background.
about that because Disney owns all these projects? It's like, oh, they have so much to do, so much money to throw at it. Be like, what are you talking about?
Be more creative with your
It's the same
posters.
damn thing with a different title.
I can see like what is that movie called? Where he's like, yeah, if I could have that report. And the guy's like,
Office Space.
Office Space,
yeah.
right?
That's
Lumber.
Maybe that's what
great.
Disney
Lumber.
has, just one guy in the back corner.
And he's like, this looks great.
Copy and
This
paste.
looks good.
Copy.
Yeah.
I still got 27,000 more posters to go.
Dude, oh my god.
Kathleen Kennedy's
Where's my
like,
stapler?
if I could get that episode 9 poster, yeah, that'd be great.
Should be a meme, dude.
I'll work on it today too.
Yeah.
But it seems like with The Mandalorian doing so great, and I'm going to kind of come back to the directors and stuff like that. Okay, so Kathleen Kennedy's contract's about to be up here in about a year.
2021.
Next year.
Damn, Tim is counting down.
Right? And then you have Brian Feige?
Oh god.
Kevin
Raja.
Feige?
Kevin Feige.
Dude, I'm going to throw something at you. Jesus Christ.
We have him rumored to be kind of
A
in the
future director.
Star Wars. Then you got Taika Waititi, rumored director. Then you got Jon Favreau's kind of like
Oh, who can
They're
all
all
do no wrong?
wiggling his way in there.
All these titans from Marvel are,
Right,
coming
so-
like over.
That's what when Hail Mary. A Hail Mary
Yes.
is the last play of the game. You're losing.
You're
And
just
you're
gonna give
way
it
on
all
the other
you
side of the
got.
field, and you just throw the ball,
And you
and you
pray.
hope for it something to happen.
And you
Okay.
are praying
You're
Okay.
praying something
to
will happen.
Hail
Okay.
Mary.
Hail Mary.
Okay. Okay.
So that's what
Or the last second buzzer beater in the NBA to
Yeah.
try to win the
Okay,
game.
like
Yeah.
when they like
Throw it
try to
from
throw
half-
it like over half court and it
Yes.
still makes it. You're like, oh my god.
Yes, we
Okay.
won, yeah.
Okay, but sometimes it doesn't. You're like,
Yeah, and you're like, oh,
Okay.
oh. And so that I'm
Okay.
wondering if Ryan Johnson coming back to that.
that's
if-
his Hail Mary.
Yeah,
That's
like
Disney's
no,
Hail
guys,
Mary? Okay.
I'm still in this. I still have
Well, I
a
mean,
trilogy.
I think if he
but
had like
with
a
all these,
standalone.
like you said, titans of Marvel and other executives
I
of,
said that. Don't look at him. Oh, sorry.
of Disney kind of weaving their
Yeah.
way into the Star Wars universe.
He's like,
Is there room
Yeah.
for Ryan Johnson?
if he had one movie, I think it'd be
Yeah.
it'd be
I
alright.
think so, because
There's just like an issue with this relay race, kind of.
And if
I'm
he
done now.
does
You.
have that relationship with Kathleen Kennedy, and she's
If Kathleen's
on her
gone,
way out,
he's gone.
Ooh,
If she stays, he's staying.
foreshadowing.
I mean, the thing is I think once they find their footing, like, they're going to try to turn it probably into the MCU with Marvel, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they're bringing in, trying to bring in, some of these guys are borrowing from Marvel to kind of create this infrastructure that allows them. All right, guys, we got to set up. You go right, you go left, you go
Yeah.
center. Follow this path. We're good to go.
Robert Seagal is here with us right now.
So Seagal?
Oh,
Hey, yes. But, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Kathleen's got, I guess, less than a year now? 2021? Somewhere around here?
About it.
Right? Because I think they renewed her contract at the beginning of the year. Year by year
But do we
ago.
really suspect that? I mean, at the
They were
time,
going
I
to
think
get Dave Filoni to 2026.
I know
Well-
Dave Filoni's got his hands in this
I mean,
stuff,
at the
too.
time, I think we believed that she was going to have a contract that would surpass the release of episode 9 to be like, okay, this is your last, chance. I don't want to say last chance, but like how you finish this up will determine if you will continue with us.
And I wonder...
Do we really suspect that she's going to go?
And that's what I was just about to ask. I wonder...
Well, I beat you to it.
Well, no, you actually brought up a great portion of that where it's like, I wonder if Bob Iger is like, okay, this movie's got to make 1.3 billion or you're done. Or is it the fans have to like this?
Yeah.
Or, well, I wonder what those stipulations are for them to put another contract in front of her so she can sign on for another 4 or 5 years.
That's especially, interesting because, from my understanding, none of the executives liked the movie that they released. Like, nobody did.
And it still made
except for Abrams.
over $1 billion already within the first month. So I wonder what.
And it's not even the Abrams. Abrams had to make a lot of cuts.
And Abrams came in super late.
And because they asked him to do that, so he has like a 3-hour movie.
And we got
maybe
2
longer.
hours and 25 minutes.
Perhaps
somewhere?
even longer.
They should have just gave
No. What I'm saying is we got in the cinema. We got 2 hours and 25 minutes, right under 2.5 hours. But you're saying it was 40 minutes cut out of it. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, I know no one, technically speaking, wants to sit down for like a 3-hour movie.
I would.
I do.
I would.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Majority of people.
Yeah.
I would,
Well,
yeah,
those
sure,
people
I'm
are
fine.
losers.
Endgame was, great. And it was 3 hours and 1 minute or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ, any Quentin Tarantino movie. But I don't know. I just think for someone like Disney, like, they probably don't want to make it that long.
So you can go
And
watch it
maybe-
again and again.
Exactly, yeah. Because if you go and watch it, and like it's a 3-hour movie, and I think maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but regular people, not hardcore fans, because the whole point is the hardcore fans are probably going to watch it multiple times anyhow.
Yeah.
But regular people that they're trying to bring into this trilogy, into this franchise and everything, they want them to be like, "Wow, this is really great. I'm going to come back." Well, it was 3 hours. It was a great movie. Maybe I'll buy it when it comes out. But that 3 hours is kind of a pain in the ass sitting down for not having to go to the restroom, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Maybe I can wait, and maybe that was the direction they're kind of looking at.
Yeah.
But I just, just looking at the movie itself, there were a couple times where it's like,
Quality
What?
over quantity, man.
I 100% get that, but
It's like-
at a certain point too is sometimes
They care more about money.
if you have this
They
story,
care more about money than quality.
I think they should have done what Sarah said all along and split this thing into 2 movies.
Or intermission. The old school cinema.
Sarah, that was.
I know it's a great idea, right?
I mean, you can't deny it.
Harry Potter, Twilight.
But every one of these great, finishing points for these movies have all had a part 2 to it.
And making it a 10
Infinity
movie saga
Yeah.
would have been.
People still would have gone out.
And the thing is, I don't even think they needed to have done that. They could have just as easily said Episode 9, Chapter 1. I mean, I know it does. I know it doesn't roll off the tongue as easy.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, look, there's 2 movies. They're going to be great. You're going to get more story, and it's not like you're sitting down for 4 hours or 5 hours, and you're never going to watch this thing again, despite the fact that you really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Not to mention Disney could have made a crap load more money. They already said they're going to be on a freaking hiatus, which we know, technically speaking, is only pushed back like by a year, if even that.
Yeah, it's not really a
But
hiatus.
if they simply did that, they could have extended that, and could have really, like, if they made that first one really solid, being that there was going to be more content in there, if anything, you're going to, recatalyze the base and be like, okay, I'm ready. I need to see the second part of this movie. And bring in more people to it. And get crap load of more money.
Along those lines, Mike, I think in our last podcast, you kind of brought this up, and you brought it up a little bit today. So I'd like to talk about it because, Tim, before we went live and started recording, you talked about this also. J.J. Abrams was not the original director for this movie. It was Colin Trevorrow, right? And Micah, when you saw the credits, you're kind of like...
First watching it?
Yeah, you're like, wait, written by Colin Trevorrow? You're like, wait a minute. This isn't even J.J. Abrams' film. So let's dive a little bit more into that. Yeah. And then, Tim, you can also bring up that thing about the leaked script somewhere in here, too.
Oh, definitely.
But,
I mean, I just know for me that... You hear 17 reasons now. Who the hell knows what the case is?
Yeah.
Case in point, Colin Trevorrow, gets pushed off, gets sidestepped, walks away himself, whatever.
Kneecapped, whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Abrams comes in to finish, the last movie, episode 9, right?
And we were rejoicing, right?
And I was happy about it, yeah. Because I believe he could bring it home, and I think at the time, looking back now, especially with the time that he had, that he did the best he probably could. Almost like Ron Howard coming in and fixing up Solo. Having said that, I didn't realize it was so late in the game that. I mean, I know he came up with the Palpatine aspect and this and that, but a lot.
This is JJ, right?
Yeah, this is J.J. Abrams. But he came in so late that they really were kind of operating off of someone's initial story, and then obviously had a different ending. Obviously had some different key elements that were threaded throughout the movie. But I just didn't realize that. I don't know why I was thinking it, or I just assumed that he had enough time that it's like, no, this is a full script rewrite because no one's seen anything, no one's heard anything. You can go off of episode 8 if you need to, or course correct, whatever the hell. And I just didn't realize how much of influence. And if anything, this wasn't Abrams' story. He influenced the outcome, but it wasn't his like an original story.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I didn't realize that. And then when we first saw the movie, that the premiere night, the Thursday night, and seeing Colin Trevorrow, I'm like, oh,
Wait a minute.
okay.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes, looking back now especially, it's like I don't want to make it. I want to be able to look at the movie objectively as a fan, or just as a person who is a fan of cinema. It's like I don't want to have to defend the film, even though I obviously will. But it's just like, okay, it could have been better. But realizing it had to have been fixed up within a short time frame, it's like I will make concessions about that. So.
Yeah. Tim says it's all JJ's fault for not taking the whole trilogy at the beginning, and he's not going to budge.
Dude, going back to that, he should have kept all of it.
Well, we
talked about it.
Yeah.
Well,
We've talked about this.
Well, Tim, you'll have to bring up the idea of these other scripts, but I also think too is I don't think we really know what those other scripts say. And even if someone says this is leaked, you still don't know.
It'll be out soon enough. We'll talk about it.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is, despite having another potential script that they could have followed, despite that being leaked on the internet, we really don't know if that's even the actual script.
So what are you hearing, Tim? What are the rumors?
We know because Trevorrow's confirmed that the leaked script is his. That's his copy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's not the only one that people were talking about. Like the George Lucas. George Lucas had a script too.
Well, the reason why the buzz is around this one is because of how good it is.
Well, talk to us, Tim. So there's a buzz for right now. We'll call it a rumor until we actually see it. But
we need to see the script.
Colin Trevorrow is saying that his official script for what the Rise of Skywalker was going to be, and if I think I know what you're talking about, the title was going to be different also.
Yeah, it wasn't Rise of Skywalker. I don't know what the title is going to be.
Yeah.
But there was, so adding to what we talked about before we were on camera, I remember there's supposed to be more Leia in this film, which is why it didn't work out. There was a lot more Leia involved in this film. As far as details, I don't know if it's like she was out there training Rey herself, the way they did kind of a little bit in the Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, it's probably written by Trevorrow, where Leia's training her, and JJ comes in and like scraps a bunch of stuff and changes things. But that's kind of like the seed that was there, and JJ showed it with like that one scene in the opening.
I wonder if Colin Trevorrow wrote this thing, and then when Carrie Fisher passed, he was like, I ain't rewriting this shit. I'm out. I don't know.
I think he would have tried hard.
Stupid move.
He would have tried hard to work that out.
Well, maybe they just didn't like what they got out of it.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a lot of fans are liking it. Oh, and Kylo Ren, he wasn't able to overcome his, or Ben not able to overcome Kylo Ren. That never happened in the script.
Okay.
Like we never, like what we saw in the movie, like where Ben comes in at the end, like Kylo. This never happens in the script. Like it's always been, it's Kylo Ren to the end.
Yeah. So he was gonna die.
No, that I
we
don't
don't
know.
know.
Well, I just know
But
that
he was
it was just
he was gonna
Kylo
stay.
to the very end of that script.
On the dark side of the Force, quote unquote.
And what were the other things that I mentioned?
Palpatine.
Oh yeah, there's no Palpatine, and he wasn't the father.
Oh,
Grandfather.
Grandfather.
Yeah.
Shit, I always said.
So Pimper Palpatine was out.
Emperor Palpatine is not the daddy. Or granddaddy.
Yeah.
It's like Maury.
Yes, Marie.
Who's heard?
But we have connections. We'll get that script as soon as it comes out.
I know another thing that you mentioned about that script, Tim, was Luke actually, and this is something that we talked about. Luke actually haunts Kylo Ren in this script, right? So I know that's something else that you.
We talked about that on the podcast, where he says that at the end of the movie, and then we were looking forward to seeing that throughout this movie.
Yeah, him kind of like poking.
Yes.
Poking
Yeah,
at
like
him a
trying
little bit.
to lead him to the light side.
Uh-huh.
That does happen in the script, but it's not like I said. There's no. We don't have the proof yet.
Yeah, proof is in the pudding. That's what they say.
Do we find that this is...
Kind of pudding.
I like vanilla pudding.
Chocolate pudding.
Chocolate pudding.
What's your favorite? The tapioca, whatever it's called.
Pudding Pops, baby.
You got to keep that one.
Okay, Cosby. Don't we find this semi-problematic, though?
What's that?
This movie, this franchise has been under, scrutiny for some time now. The movie comes out
From the prequels, right?
Yeah, technically speaking, sure. Because you didn't have. It wasn't like a. Obviously, I wasn't around in the '70s and early '80s, but it was not as mainstream as it was with the prequels, or even now, especially with
It was more celebrated back then.
Sure. But either way, especially scrutiny since Disney's been at the helm. Doesn't it seem problematic that, obviously if there are other scripts, they will get leaked. But the thing is people will bitch about it no matter what. Even if everyone came together and says, this episode 9 was great, they're still going to be like, after the fact, oh, you're going to do this? Well, I would have rather seen that. Oh, you're going to do that? Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like where almost like you have your fan fiction
Did you
stuff.
see how Lando looked to the left? He should have looked to the right, man.
Well, exactly. It's like, shit like that. It just kind of seems problematic. Is because,
You can't hyperspace skip jump like that.
Oh, sure.
Right?
But it's just like
Ship actually
we're
skipping.
like it's just people again, and maybe it's just simply a symptom of the times. But it's like people not being happy with what they have, and it's like, look, this is the movie. It's kind of like my beef that I've had in the past, where George Lucas, released stuff, and I know we've had this conversation like the first couple of podcasts that we had, and like him thinking he has a justification to go back and mess with them when they did special edition, like in '99, and then when they did another edit after that and after that and after that.
McClunky.
Yeah, sure. With the technology, but with the technology and stuff in there, and I made the thing is like I get that George Lucas created this, and this is just an example. I get George Lucas created it. I love him for it. I respect him for it. But once you release it, it's not just yours anymore. Yeah, you created it. You're the originator. You're the godfather. But it's everyone's now. Period. And just the fact is like maybe it's a symptom of the times. Look, we can hope that it went this way. We could have hoped that we saw a Dark Ray. We could have hoped that, technically speaking, Dark Ray was an actual clone, that they're all clones of Palpatine, that we would have had a different ending. But that's not the case. This is what we have. This is episode 9. Like it or hate it. You can critique it, obviously. You can still be a fan and be critical of it, thinking that, okay, I wouldn't have gone this direction because I think this could have happened, but that's fine. But now it's just like we're looking at anything else. Why'd you give me this shit? Dude, you just got a Star Wars movie, all right? Calm the fuck down.
Tired of peanut butter and jelly.
I can't calm the fuck down. No, I love the movie.
That's why you make peanut butter and honey, baby. But I don't know. It's just kind of a side idea. It's just... No one's ever happy, and it's at this point. I think it was almost like a good play. I mean, maybe Bob Iger should have waited a little bit longer. But if you keep bitching, you're not going to get it anymore at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're gonna put it in the Disney vault.
Oh, fuck me running. Yes, they're going to put it in the Disney vault.
So when they remake the trilogy years from now, they're going to do that script.
That's disgusting.
I don't think they'll ever do that.
I don't think they can. Yeah. Especially since that was it and everything, and what they go with moving forward, especially if
we had talked about
I don't think
before this trilogy, we had talked about
the possibility
of the Skywalker story being redone years from now.
But I mean, I think it's kind of like
they've done it with everything else.
I know they've done it with everything else, but I think this is what. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
It'd have to be years.
Yeah, didn't we say it was like 80 years from now or something?
We were thinking, like 50, maybe even 50.
2100.
30?
Yeah.
30 years from now?
They'll do it again. A New Hope.
80 the most.
Again.
80 years.
It will definitely be
maybe
after the people.
They'll do it in reverse. You know how they're out making all the cartoon and computer generated stuff? Life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's something to talk about. Have you heard about the?
So make it cartoon
or
like
generated.
okay.
There's a
voiceovers
company out there or something and bought rights to, I think it was James Dean, and that they're recreating a movie in his image.
I've heard about
all
this
shit.
Yeah.
And how messed up is that? Because they may very well be. Wait until the generation that grew up.
No.
You know, Gen X grew up with Star Wars in the theaters. Wait till they all die off, and so like in 50 years, then they'll come back and they'll redo everything with the same actors, but in the fashion they see it.
Okay, look.
That's disgusting, though, is that they have the technology and they want to move forward with it.
It's going to be creepy to start seeing movies like, let's say, they do the James Dean thing, and then the next.
Not if they're going to. They've already started.
Okay, so let's cast James Dean in the new Star Wars movie. He'll play this character, and then we're gonna see that.
Well, okay, hold off on that. And the reason I heard about that was I was listening to who's that sports talk guy that I introduced you to? He used to be a lawyer. Clay Travis.
I want to say Clay Travis. Yeah, that's not right.
And this was only a couple of days ago, less than a week ago, that I heard he was talking about this exact same thing. But right now, there's actors and actresses getting themselves 3D scanned in case of things like this happen, so they can have movies coming out after their death, and the studios are buying the rights to that.
It's so disgusting.
That's weird.
So, like, let's say...
Nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change in, like, cinema.
Morgan Freeman's gonna have, like, 20 more movies after he's dead.
Oh my god,
200. Come on, Tupac is still making music. I mean,
oh my god.
But you know, maybe this is the problem. Maybe Disney, maybe Lucasfilm started Rogue One, you know?
With
like
Peter Cushing?
That was
Peter
amazing,
Cushing,
man.
and even with
Look,
Leia.
you just said it was amazing.
That was,
you said it was disgusting.
When they did that, I was like, wow, like, it looks just like him, and I just thought it was for real. Like, this dude's dead.
Sandy didn't think... She's like, I was like, you know, that's computer generated.
He aged really well.
And she's like, I was like, yeah, he's dead. And she's like,
but that makes sense. But that makes sense, though. It fits the context of, because he was in Star Wars. He was in that time. He was part of the movie. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. But when you throw him into something else, because it's that actor, you're putting him into
they made a new
Dracula, yeah.
Cushing in it, then
it's just like, no.
But Tim, but that's part of the problem. Is what I'm saying is, say 50 years from now, maybe even 100 years from now, they can take all the original actors and everything that they've had from episode 4 and remake episode 4. Better graphics, better everything. You're still going to have Mark Hamill at that age, Carrie Fisher at that age, Harrison Ford at that age, and so on. Isn't that a problem?
So they bought the rights to his likeness, or what?
What?
What did they buy?
Them.
His image.
Image.
Him, essentially.
Yeah.
Everything. That should be like a...
And here's another huge
from
problem.
Their voice to their
looks. That should be a human right issue.
Everything.
Okay, now,
to their mannerisms, their dialects, everything.
That should be a human right issue.
There's a huge problem because they're going to do that with Selena next.
Oh, God, no.
They won't let her rest, damn it.
And then the family's going to sue somehow.
You say it's a human right.
Because he'll sell
I know they're dead, but that's...
There's companies out there right now that actually own plants.
Plants. Okay.
Like flower plants or like nuclear plants?
No, like seeds.
Like
that you grow.
gene farms.
Yes. So
Okay.
you're not supposed to have them unless they sell them to you. So that's been going on for a long, long time. Why wouldn't they do that with people?
Because there's a difference between a plant and a person.
Is there?
We're gonna get super ethical. Yes.
Is there?
Yes. We're gonna get super ethical, but that just
The world
that's
is
gonna it's gonna just standardize cinema. Nothing's gonna be different. Nobody's gonna be new, right? There's not gonna be any Daisy Ridley. There's not gonna be. My mind goes blank.
John Boyega.
Oscar Isaac, John Boyega. There's not going to be any of those people. But still, there's not going to be a change in anything. It's just going to be the same everything. There's not going to be new up and coming people. There's not going to be anybody for people to bully, which might be better. But
well, let me ask you.
A little bullying goes a long way.
And I brought this up on a smaller scale.
I don't know how much money it'd save them.
I was going to mention that, Tim, but Batman has not aged in almost 80 years.
well, but they get different people to play Batman.
Right?
Like James
But
Bond.
they wouldn't have
Like
to
James
anymore.
Bond.
Ooh,
stand
they
by
can
what I
do a
said.
Batman universe with all the Batmans in one movie. Michael Keaton,
The
George
multiverse.
Clooney, Val
It's
Kilmer.
not disgusting
See?
anymore.
Oh my god.
I still
I
don't.
mean, I
I don't
know-
think that's good. That's not going to be
I
good.
understand where you're coming. Don't get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But the potential of it
For the business
is
aspect.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, I know
Because then it wouldn't be them, because you'd have to get voice actors, right? You would have to get voice, just like with Peter Cushing. It was not his voice. It was the stand-in that the computer generated. He did the voice. Now, it lends to great storytelling, filling in gaps, right? Because we don't know what happened in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. We don't know what happened between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And you could fill in these time gaps and literally have a complete story.
But then do that with different people. Like, what's his name?
McClunky?
Yes. No, what's his name? The guy that played Solo. The main guy in Solo.
Alden Ehrenreich?
Yeah. Just do that.
Use him?
No, not. Well, yeah. I mean, use him if there's like a Han part, but get new and upcoming people
To fill in.
to fill in.
What do you think, Micah?
I think it's disgusting. I really do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's
Sounds bad.
sell your image, and because the thing is, I know in the case that because I brought it up, that they got rights to do that for James Dean from like his family, I guess, right? But does your family really have that freaking right? It's one thing, and I'll make a concession to this. Maybe they're in the middle of a film, it's a huge film, whatever, blah blah blah. They've shot half of it, kind of like how they did with Paul Walker. They got consent from the family, and they used his brothers, and with a lot of digital editing to finish off that film. But then that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else, no more.
Leave him alone.
It's one
Like
thing. It's
Carrie
one thing
Fisher.
about a singular project because of a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's another thing that it's one thing to be immortalized in movies that were done a decade ago, 2 decades ago, 100 years ago, depending upon how far we go with technology. It's another thing for some guy to be resurrected, something he's never done before, just because we have the technology. That's a
Just
disgusting
because you can
idea.
do it doesn't mean you should.
I want to play devil's advocate here. Okay?
Showcasing power.
I want to play devil's advocate and follow me here. So, I'm not saying this.
I mean, are you leaving?
I'm not saying this stuff is
Field trip.
right or wrong.
Okay.
But could you imagine
No.
you are a James Dean's family, okay? And you have a lawyer with you and him saying, look, we could do this project, right? And the reason I think it's a great idea is because look.
You'll get
You
a
see
lot of
James
money.
Dean image on posters. You see it on cups. You see it. Marilyn Monroe, she's on bottles of wine. She's in posters. She's still making money after her death. That's her image. It's just an image. And that's what we have on screen. It's just an image. And it's another way to generate revenue. Don't think that it's any different than slapping him on the side of a calendar, slapping him on a poster or a lunchbox, whatever the case may be. It's just his image. It's just a moving image on screen. Could you imagine a lawyer sitting down with the family saying that and then being like, you know what, he's right?
But the conversation I'm having is that the family shouldn't have that right.
No, and that's a great point, but could you imagine that?
Oh, of course.
I mean, that's
that's all I'm asking.
Probably using.
But this is the problem.
But it's the responsibility of the family too to understand what their loved one would have wanted, despite of the money, because I'm sure they're rolling in it probably anyway. If they have his image and their copyright or whatever license that is, because they're getting money from him
James
already.
Dean, at his time of death, there was nothing even close to this kind of technology.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what he would want to do.
Well, I mean, you know somebody's personality.
Which
I mean, if it's like
excluded
distant family, I think that's there's got to be a rights issue.
I've seen it reversed, like where it's like black and white, a war movie. I was watching this I wasn't watching the movie, but I was watching this clip of this movie where this guy, this actor, somehow they digitized him into the movie where he's the main actor. They took the other actor out, and now the film is with this guy, black and white still, and it looks just like it was made at that time. Like he looks.
Oh, are you
at that era?
Sure you're not talking about the one where they took all the old footage from World War I and they like brought it alive by colorizing it and stuff?
No, it's not colorized. It's black and white.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
No, this one's straight black
like
and
the
white.
Infomercials?
No.
Oh, okay, no.
There's a movie, and I still want to see it. I completely forgot about it. I think it was Peter Jackson. They took like a bunch of old videos
I know what that you're talking
shot
about.
back in obviously in the late 19-teens.
And he colorized it.
Or mid to late 19-teens for World War I stuff, and they took state-of-the-art technology.
Is that recent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it came out in the theaters like 6 months ago.
Yeah, actually, last year.
Or was it? Okay, maybe it was last year. But they essentially took all these images, pieced them together, threw a bunch of technology on top where they went from black and white to color.
What it really looked like.
To really feel what was going on. Well, as much as you can through the medium.
So
of film.
it wasn't that though. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, it's not that. Okay, that's what I was thinking. But I mean, it's one thing moving forward.
What if Carrie Fisher was okay with it? She's like, scan me, do whatever, then use my. If I were to, let's say Mark Hamill too. Let's say Mark Hamill was like, you know what, I'm cool with that. Go ahead and scan me down. I'll put it in my.
When you're that age, dude, it's like who wouldn't want to be immortal?
But they're not.
Like, let me live forever.
They're dead.
Yeah,
Other people are making choices for them.
Real quickly, Mark Hamill's
Other
still
people
alive.
are using their names to do these things.
Mark,
what
It's just like.
No, but other people are making choices for them. And
and other people are doing these things with these dead people's, essentially, their
essence.
I'm a big proponent of
their
the hell
body.
You want to. You don't
like
their no, I don't. It's weird.
Don't yell at me.
Thank you.
It's weird and bad.
Okay, I want you to describe.
And I already listed reasons why. But what's up?
I don't.
I'm really grossed out by this.
Because it's wrong.
It's
Lewis.
I don't.
He's not saying it's right or wrong. He's just saying
he's
like
playing devil advocate, and we're just simply saying that
it's
that
wrong.
devil advocate.
Morally, it's wrong.
So I gotta ask then.
It's gonna happen.
Things like I have James Dean posters, and it's just a picture of James Dean. It's like old family photos of people that have died. You have their picture. That's just mass produced, but still, it was their own choice to be there. Or if they copied and pasted whatever, I don't. But like James Dean movies, I have James Dean movies. He chose to be in those movies to play those roles.
And the advertising it's associated with it.
Yeah, but if they can't choose the role that they're in, they could be Like, what if it's okay?
If you want
like
to get
Peter
extremely,
Rabbit.
Hit all the best actors in the Saw movie, like they're like these old actors in Saw.
No, but like, okay, Peter Rabbit was
Live or Die.
No,
Play the game.
the Hitler movie.
Oh, Jojo
What?
Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit. So what if it was a Hitler movie, right? Or
No,
something.
Taika
Yeah.
His movie.
What if it was like a Hitler movie, or what if it was like Inglourious Bastards or something, and they have James Dean playing Hitler? Mm-hmm. Or even a Jewish actor who passed away playing Hitler.
I was gonna make that contention. Like, if you want to sell your image, and let's just say you're Jewish, then you're owned by the production company. Who the hell ever?
Like, they can do whatever they want,
Hitler, or we're gonna make you into.
But I'm getting really passionate about it. But I don't think that.
I think some things won't pass. Like that won't work.
Okay.
But I'm just like they're still gonna use them.
It's too. Well, the thing is, it's too late.
It's too late.
And that's why
happened,
I said
I
Rogue
know.
One, I think, was one of the beginning problems of it, is because they signed the piece of paper, and yes, that was in the context of the movie, but that was the
so
smoke,
much
and now we're
damage.
starting to see where the fire is
Are
going.
they saying anything about it?
I don't know. I haven't. No,
Oh, okay.
So when I'm saying going forward, like, it's one thing if they say, so long as my family wants to do this, maybe here's a few exceptions. That's one thing. I may not like that, but if you had a conscious decision, if you sign that contract and they follow the letter of that contract going forward, because now they have a general idea of what to expect with that technology. Yeah, James Dean, era, they probably could have never fathomed where we're at today, or even the next 10 years.
Great point.
That's one thing. Mm-hmm. If you get that in writing, because I'm a firm believer that you can do whatever the hell you want to. You have that independence, you have that freedom. Especially growing up, and living in this country. But to do things of that era that they had no consent on that, the family doesn't have that right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as you say, who doesn't want to be immortalized? I don't. When I'm gone,
be
you
dead.
can take me from the videos I have. You can take me from the photos I have. You can take the memories that you have of me. But that's it.
You want to be forgotten.
I don't want to be forgotten, but I think
right now,
that's what I mean.
I'm going to tell you right now.
People want to be remembered.
I'm going to buy the rights to Micah.
Hold on.
And he's going to be on this podcast, forever.
But isn't that the whole point? Is that so long as this video exists on the internet, this one alone, anything else that any of the other podcast videos, I will be alive forever in that concept.
But it's still
But the thing is I'm a firm believer that there is a beginning and there is an end. Don't fuck with that.
It's also within your own mental faculties too.
So let this, if they're watching
do
this,
whatever you want.
if they're watching this, and I say that.
Ooh, 2050. If this
The
is
individual
real
person
and-
does that. But me, anyone looking at this in the year 2125, fuck no. Let me be dead, okay? Unless I'm still alive. Hey buddy, looking good.
Inbox me. It is mail
Oh
flat.
my god.
If you're alive, send me a piece of pizza right now.
No, ahorita mismo. So I like your passion. You're very
I got upset
passionate.
about that.
I appreciate that.
I got upset about that. But I mean, especially in nursing, like, they ingrain ethics, like, they pound that into our brains. Like, it's whatever this person wants. You're taking care of them, but they're still a person.
Especially
James Dean is dead, but he should still have some peace and respect after he's died.
And especially
Yeah.
what we've seen in the morally bankrupt society that it is today. What the hell is it going to look like 50 years from now? Let's hope it gets better. But it may not.
And you bring up a great point, Micah, because you mentioned that James Dean had no clue, probably literally, of the technology that we have today and what we're capable of doing with somebody's image and likeness, right? Who's to say, let's just say Mark Hamill signs off, hey, scan me, take my voice, and we'll do lines like they did in that movie with Johnny Depp. What was that movie? Where he said Transcendence. Where he said so many statements and words and
But it's a little bit different because that was actually supposed to be his conscience.
Yeah, no,
but
it
was still him.
Yeah, but let's say Mark Hamill goes along with this. Like you said, in 2150, Mark Hamill at this point in time might not realize what kind of technology we have. Then he's put stipulations of what he thinks now.
But he's still alive and he's still conscious.
And that's why you have to get one of these, blood hungry, shark of a lawyer. Like, you need to get that in writing.
Yeah.
Because the difference between the era of James Dean and the era we have now, and what we can possibly fathom 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Yes, in 100 years, I don't know, there might be some way that you could literally be in the movie, feel the person, be part of that representation. Because I know in a podcast we've talked about the future will be choosing your own movie, choosing your own destiny, choosing the own specifics that you want to enjoy, that you want to be entertained by, whether it's this or that. But what I'm saying is being part of that contract, if that, because we're talking about this whole philosophical debate on morality, is that if you wanted to do that, you can say, from the technology that exists publicly at this point in time. Yeah.
So I'm curious, especially with Sarah, because you did get so passionate about it, and I know you're talking about integrity and human rights and stuff like that.
Integrity? Where did that come up?
Let me ask you. Now with the right now,
okay,
with the mindset that you have about this conversation, do you have a problem with Attack of the Clones?
Why?
Because he asked the question, it makes it seem so innocent. Like, why wouldn't you? He's gonna go like that way with it.
I know.
Fishy.
No matter what I answer.
Fishy.
Because
you want a little pepperoni? You want 2 large pizzas?
In Attack of the Clones, we find out that Jango Fett pretty much sold his DNA to a cloning facility.
Yes.
And then they used that clones at their disposal.
Yes, which is bad. Even though it was his conscious decision, he died. He died.
Well,
he died. And they couldn't continue further though. The DNA that they had, the clone troopers started to get worse and worse because they didn't have.
But I mean,
fresh
he was
new
also
DNA.
kind of like, he is not like the moral compass you want to have. Also,
are actors and actresses?
Not necessarily, but they shouldn't be denied their rights still, or their wants, or their wishes, or whatever you want to call it in life or death.
So you're okay with Attack of the Clones?
It's a movie.
Oh, okay.
It's a James Dean movie.
No, it's different. He played a character. It didn't actually happen. We're reality checking right now.
Yes.
But this is a real person, and that's where it gets kind of. I'm a real boy.
But that's why I bring up the notion of if you sign
have
off
a conscience.
Because who's to say that I don't, let's say person or actor A who's super famous now, he kind of falls out of the mainstream fandom, but he says he makes a written testament to saying that 100 years, I want you to bring back my image. You have a blank check.
Yeah.
Go through with it. He's making the conscious decision. Now that doesn't mean that it'll happen. Obviously, whatever company will have to say yes, we want to go forward with this. But again, like if he made that conscious decision, it is all going to be unfortunately part of the black and white contract.
Yeah.
Like that's where the devil's in the details. The specificity of it is that you may not make that choice. Like me personally, hell no. If I'm dead, let me be. Anything that's out there beforehand, then that's fine.
You're not going to let him.
Then my ghost will haunt your ass.
Okay.
And I'll make a story out of it. Tim, you've been really quiet.
But
I know.
Talk to us, man. What do you think?
He's just going off. All of you are going off. I can't.
What do you think?
Because mine's is just so bogus, like out there. It's so crazy.
Totally.
I've said I'm like.
He's
not
like,
that I'm
would
afraid
be
to talk about it.
cool.
My mind is just so like stupid. Like just like
you could have.
I'm thinking of stuff like I said with the Saw movies. There's like outrageous ideas.
Yeah, you could have
Luke
Skywalker go up against Mark Hamill's Joker, right? And
fighting Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's too ridiculous. It doesn't.
We could have Baby Yoda fighting a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
Okay. No force abilities.
And that's
fighting.
Okay, well, Tim, if you don't have anything else to add, I think that was a really, really good interaction there. Really, really great, good content.
This will be in the history books. They will be talking about this conversation.
Yeah.
The remakes are just gonna be on another level.
I'm scared for the future.
You're
be the
the future,
remakes.
sir.
Well,
The
You are the
future.
future.
I know.
You're gonna be. We're gonna be
we had
the
all
parents,
We had
like back in my generation. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna turn into that. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna do that shit. You know.
Yeah.
My day.
Went just walked up and down a hill in 5 feet of snow by myself to get
God.
to school.
When I was your age, I had to push the remote on the damn TV to get it to turn on.
Back in my day, TV, what are you saying? A bunch of goddamn
Back in my day, they used to hire actors for their roles.
AR, VR, who gives a shit? Oh, man. Well, technology and our crutch with it. Is it a crutch or is it an advancement?
It's an evolution.
It's an evolutionary step.
We are evolving.
But should we be?
We're gonna enter another dimension.
Should be. Well, if you don't evolve, you can devolve, I guess.
No, I'm just saying with
Sometimes you gotta take
technology,
a step back.
Some
take a step
technology is bad.
Your scientists didn't know what they had, and before they knew what they had, they put it in a box and they stamped it and they sold it.
Packages and they packages.
forward. All right, so we can
Condos. Condos were on the verge of
we could write a
extinction.
script, make a movie about how this could go wrong. Or
And make a
Hold on,
lot
hold on.
of money
Hold on,
with
they already
real
did.
people
Netflix
and real
original.
actors.
They already have. Go watch any Black Mirror episode. Jesus.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Black Mirror.
yeah.
That's true.
Oh, okay. That shows.
Okay, watch
me
any
out.
Black
Okay,
Mirror
so we
episode
can-
except an episode.
Write
Stresses
something
me
and then
out.
sell it to Black Mirror.
That stresses me out so much.
We're talking about it. You know, they're probably already making that shit.
They've already done so much with like future.
I'm putting down a date right now.
Ooh, date.
Like the food?
Yeah. No.
Dates.
No. A date in time.
Okay.
Like a time capsule?
What time? What
Like
day?
a 2-dimension.
It's 2-dimensional. It's on a flat sheet of paper. I'll keep that,
But that's an
That
point
date-
space need a third dimension.
and I'll bring it up when that date happens.
What?
Anyways, moving
Yeah,
forward.
he's making a lot of sense, folks.
Dang, I'm hyped.
Wake me up when
stressed
you're
out.
done. Jesus.
But I think Tim's right. I think it's an evolutionary step. Whether we should be taking it or not, I think it is inevitable.
Failure is inevitable.
What?
Well, this is true. Yeah. You know, it's funny that you say that because in baseball, if you miss the ball 7 times out of 10, you're still incredible. So yeah, you're right.
Oh, that's true.
You're
The
amazing.
percentage on that is like crazy. Mm-hmm. Then you're like just all-star just for hitting that.
So, back to Star Wars.
Yes,
I
that's Star
know.
Wars.
You get a bunch of nutbags.
I know, for real. So, you know, along the lines of new content coming out,
What did that begin off of? Talking about the scripts and not accepting episode
We're
9?
talking about these actors
finality.
doing these new movies, right? Roles. Because of Leia.
yeah,
Okay.
Oh, there wasn't
Yeah.
enough. There was too much Leia
in
Yeah,
Colin Trevorrow's
this-
in his script.
Yeah, and it kind of
And
expounded off of
then,
that.
yeah, sorry guys.
It's okay. It's good to be passionate about stuff. That's why we're here, right?
That's why we're here.
Okay.
Are
Well,
we really here?
another
That's-
thing to be
that's talk
passionate
later.
about. I've seen some pictures, and I don't know if they're legit or official, but Obi-Wan Kenobi, where it's just like his lightsaber.
Fan
Oh
made.
yeah.
It's fan made.
That's fan made.
Yeah, that's a fan made.
I'll pull it up.
Have you seen it?
Goes
I
far
have
back.
seen it.
Yeah.
Kenobi.
So I was kind of a little hyped about that,
I'm
but
still excited.
kind of burst my bubble at the same time.
Do we have a projected date for that? Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Have you?
2021, 2022.
What?
For the
I live in
Obi-Wan.
Projected date.
21,
21, 22.
They said it was Dean's 22.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a long way.
That's a long time.
So we'll be getting that series, probably season 3 of The Mandalorian, and a Star Wars film
Yeah.
to kick off the trilogy. Trilogy in 2022.
And by that time, we'll probably have Cassian Andor.
Yeah, you're right. So there's going to be a lot of Star Wars content.
In 2022.
Yeah.
Unless we forget, was the next one Clone Wars
Yes.
season?
Season 8.
Season
7.
8? Yeah, 7 to. Jeez.
Season 7. And then that'll finish that series off. Are y'all all caught up?
Nope.
No.
No?
For the most part.
Yeah.
I need to go back and rewatch the last season.
Uh-huh.
But I know because that one I kind of skimped over because I needed to finish it up. But
Yeah.
because they were going to remove it from Netflix.
Yes, that's right.
And then they did, and I'm just like, fuck.
You're like, really?
I watched just enough to still be pissed off at Yoda. So.
He's all right.
He's okay.
It's okay.
So Rosario,
He's okay. He's just as bad
Rosario
as the dark
Dawson
side.
is like tweeting that she wants the role.
She's been speaking about that for a while. Though.
No, but like recently though.
I know it's recently, but I just know that she's made that
to
one.
be in Mandalorian.
How would that work?
Because she's like 40-something years old. The character in the time frame
Is about the same age,
of Mandalorian,
roughly.
they're around the same age. So that's why her as an actress, she wants to play that role.
To be Ahsoka?
I would love that.
It wouldn't. Yeah, there's no way
I
she's
thought they
playing
were
the
looking
younger
at
one.
Brie Larson though.
God, I hope.
Weren't they?
I'd rather not. They don't do that.
I mean, same.
I'd
But
rather
I thought that's the direction they were
Rosario.
going with that.
I mean, it would be a thing about Brie Larson trying to play
Oh, they did talk about that,
a
right?
role
They
of a
talked about,
minority. But,
I think that's more of a fan thing.
well, she's doing all the whatever. The stuff that she was having problems with Captain Marvel being released. Like
I went over my head.
the social justice angle thing, whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I wouldn't want.
They didn't get the baseball thing either. It's okay.
I don't really want Brie Larson, but I really want Rosario Dawson anyway. So
I mean, same.
You got it.
I got it. Yeah, the whole failure bit. Yeah, god damn it. That's like baseball sucks.
take the word right out of my mouth.
All right,
I
so
like baseball.
Okay, Astros fan.
I am a Red Sox fan.
God, that's got to be a real stab for your boyfriend.
I know.
A bunch of cheaters.
But he
out here.
still wants me to go to an Astros game. Anyway,
It was fun. I went to one.
I like
I guess
the
they
Red
weren't
Sox.
cheating that day because they lost.
Well,
Sorry, I know a little bit about it, just enough to make fun of it, or to poke fun of it.
oh, the Astros came out more that they were cheating.
yeah, a bunch
they
of
were
their
stealing
coaches.
Not the whistling?
calls.
They got fired,
The buzzing thing in their jersey.
and then they
I heard
were
about
like smashing trash cans and.
Well, in the
Yeah.
there,
What are you talking about?
all right,
like-
Star Wars. No, stop.
We'll
get
talk
into
about that later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
there's all kinds of shit going on. with that.
So yeah, Rosario Dawson. I think that would be great. The some of the times the videos I watch on YouTube, Charlie does Emergency Awesome. He posted he tweeted something about that, and she actually liked it. It was commented back or something. So I mean, it seems to at least have the very least the attention of some folk. Hopefully,
Where couldn't we just get the girl that plays Ahsoka?
Why
Yeah.
don't we 3D print Rosario Dawson
Right?
and have her be in the
I think her
Mandalorian?
name is Ashley
oh,
Eckerstein or something like
because
that.
I don't.
I mean,
is she?
she's an actress.
I guess she's an actress, but
Just have her do it.
Yeah.
She's the same age. And she knows the character.
because haven't we had this conversation before? Voice actors are not the same as actual actors.
That's
no, but
true,
she's
though.
an actual actress.
I get that,
Also.
but it doesn't mean that I'm not speaking ill of her, and I'm not as familiar, I guess, as you are. But just because you're an actress doesn't mean that you fit that role, despite voicing it beforehand. James Earl Jones voiced Darth Vader, but he never jumped in that suit.
I don't think he fit in it.
My point exactly. Just because, and he was an actor though, was he not? Just because you're an actor, just because you voiced that character, doesn't make you right for the role.
Have you seen her?
I've seen a picture of her, yes, but
She looks more like Ahsoka than Rosario does.
Dawson does.
Yeah.
Literally.
I don't think she has a stature for it. Isn't she short?
Yeah, she's short.
She has a...
Yeah, but isn't Ahsoka supposed to be like
No.
6 foot?
It's her head thing.
Because we saw that because,
It's a headpiece.
but she's different from when she's in Rebels versus the Clone Wars because she's still aging. Mm-hmm. I thought she was supposed to be closer to 6 feet tall.
They're pretty good with camera angles. I mean, you see the Tom Cruise movies. He's like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah, exactly. They make him look like 6'4".
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Because when they had to wait a couple years to do Top Gun for him.
I know.
Like,
they had
you
to
never
put
see a picture of his feet when he's standing next to
booster chair in your face.
who the hell's what's Goose's name? Realized Anthony?
Yeah.
Fuck, forgot his name.
When they're standing side
But
by
yeah,
side.
when they stand side by side with Goose, you never see them. You never see the feet.
Oh god, that's hilarious.
The funniest thing, I don't know why I remember this, with watching Mission Impossible with my granny, I mean years ago now, watching, there was the first Mission Impossible, she was like, I don't know why anybody likes that midget.
Oh god, that's classic.
I was like, what do you mean? He's short. I mean,
She calling him out.
my poor granny, I was just like.
That would have been classic if she did it in the theater. Awesome.
I was just cracking up. I was like, "What the?" I was so young at the time. It was just hilarious. I just remember that.
Yeah, what does height have to do with this?
What are you looking up, Sarah?
Picture? Mm-hmm.
Does she think she'd be fine as Ahsoka?
Thank you.
Was it Ray had posted a picture of her with her? Right?
She the one on the left or right?
She's the blonde one.
Yeah. What do you mean she looks like Ahsoka?
She could play Ahsoka.
Has she
It's
been?
not a height
Has she
problem.
been donned in the makeup?
And she's not always blonde. She hasn't always been blonde.
No, I think she.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure for that character,
There's no-
human hair color does not really matter.
Yeah.
But that wasn't necessarily a jab at you. I'm just saying, like,
No, that was just giving you more detail.
for something like that, I think there's one of the bigger features is more so physique, and I don't know. Well, if you have a picture of her with the Ahsoka makeup on it, then I think that would be a more.
Maybe I'll mock one up myself.
There you go.
I'll try to do it today
I
for you.
guess you got the time.
I might have time today to
is.
do it. Why not?
But I don't know. I just think I just heard about Rosario Dawson some time ago. Like it was a couple years ago, and I just always liked that idea because I think someone did a mock-up of her, and I was like, oh fuck, that'd be cool. But whatever. What we got next?
Let's see. We can either talk about the Kylo Ren comic book. Sent y'all pictures of it. Unless y'all want to do, we can talk about that next time, or we can talk about scoring the Rise of Skywalker now that it's set in, it's settled. We've talked about it a little bit, and we can score it. What would you guys rather do?
We hadn't scored it yet.
I
We
think
have
we
not scored it yet.
Yeah.
We've kind of been like, was it an A? Was it a B? We really haven't sat down.
Well, let's score it now. Let's get it out of the
score
way.
it.
Get that out of the way now.
Okay.
I think it's already settled in.
Tim, go.
Who's first? Tim? Tim? You're first, Tim?
Because you said we want to do it right now. You got a number. Now.
90.
You give it a 90. 90%. Wait. Why wait?
Can't change it. He already wrote it down.
It's an ink, Tim. It's an ink.
Wow, that's
You can't
permanent.
just erase it.
Yeah.
No, 90 is good.
Talk to us why 90, Tim. You got to talk about why a 90. You can't just drop a 90.
Okay, so, in my opinion, not yours, Micah.
You're the one talking about, dickhead. God damn. I wasn't even trying to like.
Before you start saying
He just jumped over Hoser and went straight to dickhead.
I'm quite sure I wasn't even looking at it in your general direction.
just saying.
I'm gonna put an alert right here. Ding, ding, ding. Dickhead.
Okay.
These are yours.
If I wasn't the dickhead at that moment, you would have been the dickhead in the middle of my talk.
Ah, there you go.
All right, so you would have, dude.
I mean, I'm debating doing it now because you're acting like
They
it.
want to know, Tim. Look,
The people want to know.
give people what they want.
Having watched it, like, it's only 3 times that I've seen it. Nearly all back-to-back days. I enjoyed it every time I went to see it. Probably the best the second time because I'm really bad about critiquing films the first time I see it. But I really enjoyed it. It was, I don't want to say fantastic, but it's a movie that I would like to purchase as soon as it came out. I'd watch it again and again.
Frame by frame by frame.
Well, yeah, not frame by frame, but might watch the extras. And I just think JJ did a good job with it, man. He did good with what he had. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever he got to work with, he did fine with that. It's hard to come up with a good story after the mess I had to deal with. But that's just me.
Very nice wrap up. You want to go next, Sarah? You want me to go, or
You go.
you want me to go?
Yes.
All right, I'm out of here.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Go on and get the flock out.
Oh. Okay. I think I'm gonna give it a. For some reason, this number is sticking in my head, so I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna give it a 92.
Oh, that's what I was gonna give it.
It's funny because you're about to say 3.
That's what I was gonna say.
In my head,
when I said,
But it was in
when
your
I said
head.
wait, I was gonna
gonna
say
give it
92.
yeah, in my head it was switching back and forth from 92 to 93, but the 92 just kept. Do you go?
90. I do have to.
Okay, good. The 92 just
Where are you
kept flashing
going?
a little bit more.
I know it. Watch out.
So-
I see it.
So, the reason I give it a 92 is because when I walk out of a movie theater, and when Robert Seagal was here last time, I was able to leave that movie and say, that was fun. I had a good time watching that movie. So that was part of this 92. There was some things that they hit on that I wanted answered. They did that for me in this film. There were some things that were left unanswered, but now I'm getting those in the comic books and other sources. So, not that rolls into this score, but they left those a mystery. But some of those things are being answered now.
Well, some of those things you can figure out yourself.
Yeah, or you can.
I've seen some people come up with these plot holes and like it's there.
Yeah, you just have to think a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have to actually see it on screen. You know, I have to be baby fed to you in a freaking little spoon, right? You go like, get that off your chin. There you go.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, but I really, I think that from beginning to end, I don't think there were any parts where I was like, this is kind of boring. You know what I mean? Tim, for you, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'm going to take them from what you said, that the beginning of the movie was pretty fast-paced for you. For me, it was kind of like, I think for me, it was like, okay, let's do this because we need to get this out of the way. Mm-hmm. We need to know where this is going so we can, okay. And then, like, I think less than a third of the way into the movie, maybe about a quarter of the way into the movie, it kind of set a different pace or a bit different tone the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. I like that, where it was like, it almost felt like a comic book, where it was like, this happened, and then, okay, all right, this is the rest of the story.
Yeah.
It almost felt like literally like a comic book. Let's just set this up. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's our story. And then they finished it off.
For sure.
I kind of enjoyed that. I thought that was kind of cool, you know what I mean? So those are my reasons for giving it a 92. Plus the visual effects, the music always, and John Williams is fantastic. Mm-hmm. You can't deny that. You know what I mean? Congratulations to him for getting nominated for another Oscar for orchestration. You know what I mean, of the symphonies for this movie.
I like the arrangement for Ray's theme in this one.
Yeah, it was very, very. I mean, the music really brought you into the movie, or me. It brought me into the movie.
You joke around, you know that's what happens.
So those are the reasons why I gave it a 92. Sarah, now that you're back, you want to go or you want Micah to go?
I was going to say 92 also.
Oh, you're going to?
Yeah.
We'll go with you next. 92.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the ending I wanted.
The ship?
What?
The Kylo Ren race ship?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just asked.
We thought you asked if she went to go take Everything come out all right? Timing is everything. Even Sarah thought you asked that. Because you made it back in record time.
I'm not disgusted with this podcast.
We haven't talked about poop in a while.
I know.
Yes.
We usually had to poop every
one
episode.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Shitty puns.
Oh my god. Okay.
poop it is.
My face hurts. I got the ending I wanted.
The ending, which you mean
With
Kylo Ren died.
being Ben.
Oh. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kylo Ren being Ben, the Kylo Ray kiss.
Yes.
I think Izzy and I both are like,
He smiled for the first time.
yeah, that was weird.
He never smiled the whole movie.
It was great. Her beating Palpatine, just Ray power all the way. There were a couple of, like, what we talked about. There was a couple, like,
Cheese
parts.
for you.
Cheese, a
You
little
never
bit of
really.
cheese.
You said that there was last podcast. You said there were some cheesy parts, and I don't know if you heard me, or maybe you didn't hear me. I said, where did you find the cheese?
Oh, I found the cheese.
Where's the queso at?
No, that was good. No, it's just the weird, like, group of stormtroopers. They're like, we're stormtroopers too. And then Finn's like, yay! And then that was pretty much it.
Oh, with
When they make
when
it to
when
the...
they arrive on that planet to get
With the
moon
Death
again.
Star crash. The people on the horses.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I was like, okay, well,
They were stormtroopers too.
all right.
I see what you.
Yeah, like, we're all defects. You're not special. Okay. There's just little things that kind of just, and that's the only one that can come to mind right now. I don't know why, but just little things that kind of are like little bumps in the road. But that was it. Small little.
Just those little things.
Yeah.
Did those little things? Is that why you kind of notched it down to a 92 a little bit?
Yeah. I kind of want to change it now. Maybe like a 95.
95.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it wasn't, the little bits of weird weren't that bad. I don't know. I need to watch it again. I actually need to keep watching
You
it
watched it.
twice.
I didn't say I've watched it once.
Oh, okay.
I watched it once. That one time that we all went together. Micah, how many times have you watched it?
Twice.
You watched it twice. And in those 2 times, you give it a
91.
91. You scored it.
I thought 91 in the beginning. I wanted to try to make a case to make it higher, but I think 91's fitting for it.
I think so. I think we're all probably. Sarah
I think
gave
it's
it.
the highest rated one that we've had, except for Rogue One.
That's weird.
I think we're all pretty high. I think we're all higher on Force Awakens.
What?
Because I'm trying to look at that in
That's where
respect. Like when we
it's the
have
lowest.
when we would do that for the guests, it's like, you know,
But I
you can
feel
only
like I
compare
love
these
it more
against.
than all of y'all do.
You what?
That's how
See,
dare
I didn't
you
interrupt him
quantify
during
my
his
love
stuff,
for
but he's
it.
interrupting me now.
Tim, don't be a dick.
Or
You're
saying
a
that.
dick.
Well, Why are you being so harsh on it then if you love it so much?
Because I'm a harsh guy on movies.
Yes, let's hear Micah out, and then we'll get back to why you felt you were a little bit harsher than us, Tim.
Yeah.
You like anime, for Christ's sakes.
They're better at storytelling.
They probably are, maybe.
They're better.
I'll never know.
Way better at storytelling than movies.
So, 91. It did take the second time for me, I think, to give it a better appreciation to it. Mm-hmm. I think misquote Oscar Wilde, there's two tragedies in the world. One is not getting what you want, and the second one is. There are things that I wanted out of the movie, or I wanted to see, that I didn't think were possible, that I did get to see, but it was almost cheapened. Like Rey being Darkseid, essentially. Mm-hmm. Or not really being Darkseid, but becoming from it. You know, Ben came from good, and as you know, they said in the very beginning of episode 7, he rose to what he became, being Darkseid or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just the fact that Rey was Palpatine, I enjoy that, because I know I had kind of speculated that beforehand from things that I got from my older brother Dane. Mm-hmm. But it didn't almost slightly. I mean, I understand why they went with it, but I almost felt like it was slightly cheapened, like they're adhering to too many different audiences by saying, "Oh, now she's a Skywalker" and all this stuff.
Jeez.
There were kind of a couple of cheesy moments that Sarah put that you. I get it in the context of the movie. I get the direction they're wanting to go with it, but still, it's something you have to objectively look at. Mm-hmm. Like, because I remember the point, like, why would you have horses, right? But then they were saying, like, the devices or whatever. They're like, well, they're not riding on, speeders or whatever. So I mean, I get that, but again, does it really make sense? Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, in a fun, ha ha ha. This is a story of fantasy, Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Like, I get it, but it just kind of almost takes away from it a little bit.
You know what I think they were... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't want to cut you off.
I saw like, I think the movie was good, but again, I have to take it down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Being the fact is, I saw Palpatine, and I love to see Palpatine, and at least try to believe the notion that I'm sure it was a very last minute thing, but that it kind of did work together to wrap up towards the end. As this was like the linchpin from episode 1 going forward, Anakin because Palpatine, and the ending of it and such. I'd probably have to say Kylo Ren, is my favorite character. Second to Dark Anakin, because I just feel like they have one of the most impactful, story arcs. Mm-hmm. They come from this to become this kind of thing. Like, they're going through like the ringer. Yeah. And just their whole entire story, I liked it. But I don't know. There's a lot of things I like to see, and there's just a couple things cringier. Otherwise, I just can't give it a complete, like, you couldn't have done any better. Well,
did I say cringy?
No, cheesy. Sorry.
Okay.
You say cheesy, I say cringy. I'm kind of making it synonymous. I know it's not necessarily, but
it's just a little.
But
I'm sure if you had gotten more of the Knights of Ren and what they were about,
there's a couple letdowns like that. Yeah, like I understand. I think why they did it that way, and at least they were extinguished by the hand of the master of Knights of Ren. Mm-hmm. But we would have wished to see more. The whole idea that instead of hearing the voices, like seeing the actual symphony of Force Ghost,
okay, that would
actually
be
just
better.
sitting there like in concert, kind of like how we see at the ending of episode 6. Mm-hmm. I mean, sure, that was after the celebratory thing, but just seeing them, like, they're all standing there in concert with one another, saying, like, Ray, get up, and then they can say the lines. I think that would have been better, because I think we kind of had heard something like that even as far as episode 8. So a couple things I want to see. I might be being slightly critical about it. I still really enjoyed the movie. Obviously, I gave it a 91. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll be buying it as soon as it's available. I actually have it pre-ordered on iTunes. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually really looking forward to hopefully... Actually, we'll probably buy, like I said, at the very least, the Audible version to see the novelization, because I want to know what they cut out. Yeah. And I know even then, beyond probably the cutouts that they had done, the editing for the movie, there's probably a lot more story that would make this whole picture make, not more sense, but it would be really impactful to the directions they took.
Yeah. That's very descriptive there.
Mm-hmm. That's what you asked for.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's great. And
no, Mike.
No.
You give your opinions. We don't want any more of those. We can just rewind this video if that's the case.
I sent y'all a text Well, just to go back and review, Tim gave it a 90.
Yeah.
Sarah 95. I gave it a 92. Micah gave it a 91. Tim, you want to come back around real quick?
What, to change it?
Do you want to change it?
Not to change it, but you.
Well, let's talk about why I gave it a lower score than y'all, I guess.
Yeah. You were.
I mean, I think I love it more than you guys, but
you're more critical.
Probably way more. I think this is more critical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
why is that though?
Like one of the parts was well, you kind of touched up on it a little bit. When they arrive on the ship to disable their, what is it called?
The beacon thing.
Well, they come off on their horses, and they have horses, so they have the upper hand because they don't have speeders. But then you have, so these are like, I don't want to say retired troopers, but like troopers that left versus troopers that are still enlisted and they have like years more of training since they've been there longer, and yet they're still losing the fight. Like to these guys, a group of people who have been out of it versus a highly trained, been there forever, and
because these were Sith troopers. These weren't just regular whatever.
And they're being completely dominated.
Different as Sith troopers,
other than the red.
Do you?
Tell us.
From what I've gathered, the information of that they are.
I thought about the
brainwashed.
They are. They're brainwashed. They're to do the bidding of the First Order.
So they're just like zombies.
I guess kind of, yeah. It's like they're gonna do this order, and that's what they're gonna do. Mm-hmm. Anything further than that, I'm not too sure, but maybe that has something to do with it.
Well, only thing like to me that would make sense is that maybe those troopers are still going through the same things that Finn and them have already gone through. Like maybe we should give up this fight. I mean at that point you probably don't want to because you're freaking stacked, but on weapons.
You're talking about the Sith trooper now?
Yeah, like just where you lay down your weapons and stuff. Maybe they still have that fear. It's the reason why they
have the fear.
They don't want to shoot them.
The Sith Eternal. Maybe that's why they're. There's just so many of them. It seems like.
So there's that part, and then going back to what was another part? There's another part that was.
How did you like the?
Where they're describing where the news is broken, like Palpatine's back. They got the message across, and they heard it. They all heard it. So now, there's like the people are questioning these things. Like, how is he back? He's supposed to be dead. And the guy says, "Well, it's dark science and cloning in their dark science, and like that's it. That's all you get to explain everything. To explain that big plot point, like." He's back, and then you're just gonna give us the guy's gonna tell us like 2 lines, and that's it, or 1 line, 2 words, and that's it.
Yeah, but even then, it's not like they had a lot of information. Wasn't that in part of the correspondence that they got from like their spy? Was just to confirm that Palpatine was back. It's not like this happened because of this. It was just very much more so.
No,
like,
I get your point.
Here's a piece of paper. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I get it, but this guy doesn't. This guy didn't get the information from the spy. This guy just got like random knowledge, like that he knew. He knows of this. He heard about it, kind of like how they heard about the Jedi when Rey heard about who the Jedi were, and he's like, "This is like y'all guys are legends."
Yeah.
So it's like that. He maybe heard the stories and like, "Hey, these stories are true."
Maybe we'll get that.
We didn't get
novelization.
Like, well, Leia. Okay, everybody, sit down. Let me tell you how this works.
Yeah.
What happened? Tell a little 5-minute story. And the story time for everybody.
Yeah.
And then move on with the story. We didn't get it, but
I think we'll get that probably somewhere in the novelization. If not in the novelization, probably in a comic or a novel.
Yeah.
Entitled Palpatine.
I just also feel like for as fast a pace as they were having to do, as much as editing that they did, I think him making that 1-2 line explanation was probably speculation at best. Because even then, at that point, does it really matter how he came back? He's back. He's coming to fuck everyone up.
And you can see he's like there's like rods and stuff in his back that it's like.
Okay, yeah, it looked awesome.
like,
it looked like that. I'm assuming that was his actual dead carcass.
For new fans to Star Wars, I think they want an explanation. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean science? Dark science? Like, what is this?
I think
what's going on?
But also too is that this character and all of his story isn't anything from this trilogy, or at least what they've seen at this moment. So it's kind of like there's only so much you can give to them without derailing yourself from the progression they're trying to do throughout the movie.
Yeah, but don't just give them one line.
But that's what I'm saying. Like what he said was probably his speculation at best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it would have been cool if there was like a little quick.
They could have written it better.
2-minute thing where you see
better.
like
maybe that was written better, but they just had to like cut it out because they were asking for JJ to make cuts, and that was probably one of the things.
Because wasn't there supposed to be a friggin' and that probably was part of the cuts because maybe there was a cutaway scene real quick because there supposed to be like a Sith acolyte.
There usually is,
and that could have been something to that effect where like, and I know that's what we were postulating that was Matt Smith's role. Mm-hmm. That maybe
he
never
came out in there.
No, and so maybe like he's collecting the body, he's getting the F off of the Death Star before it blows up, or even after the fact. Mm-hmm. It would probably be beforehand because his body was old and mangled and everything, but it was still intact. Mm-hmm. He probably takes off or whatever, and then he's doing dark science, whatever the hell it requires to bring Palpatine's consciousness, if you will. Like there might be like a featurette to that, which would be pretty neat to see. But I don't know. Just for me, I know what you're saying, Tim. It's just for the course of the movie, I feel like it just would have derailed it too. Not derailed it, but spent too much time, and they're already trying to probably cut out everything superfluous to the storyline at the beginning.
Speaking of that, the reason that I'm going to bring this up real briefly, and then we're probably going to wrap it up because are we hitting on the 2-hour marker?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're getting pretty close to it.
We're on the fourth segment, so we're at like a minute 36, an hour 36 now.
Okay. So, like Kylo Ren, for instance. Oh, I didn't know if we're good.
Oh no, we're fine.
Oh, I didn't know if that was the not.
That was the new.
Sorry. Like Kylo Ren, for instance, from the comic book, some of the information that's missing. Like, do you know where you got the name Kylo?
Oh no, go ahead.
Tim?
No.
Micah?
I remember seeing an article about it. I just didn't have a chance to read it. And
Is that like a mix between Kyber and something else?
No, but take a look at this.
That's why.
Yes, sir.
Really? That's how I got it?
That was another cheesy thing where Finn had something to tell Rey, but he's like, "Oh wait, I know, just
kidding."
Like,
yeah,
that was cheesy too.
Is this canon? Because I don't believe this shit for a second.
You know? Okay. Well, how about? Do you know where you got Ren?
For someone who
that I remember reading and I forgot about.
For someone who wants to go dark side, for someone who's trying to run away from his own parents and what he was,
keep their names.
This is too reminiscent.
Throw it in the trash then.
It is trash.
Trash it. How about Ren?
He wasn't entirely trying to run away. Remember, he was like, he was trying to learn to love his father and his mother.
Kill the past. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. But his name is derived off of his original names, Skywalker and Solo? No.
He said he loved his dad.
So much that he killed him. Yeah, that makes sense.
Afterwards.
Something with Ben.
He realized.
His name's Ben.
No. There are the Knights of Ren, right? And the Knights of Ren literally worship the crimson blade of a lightsaber. Okay? They call that the Ren. The crimson blade, the Ren. So the Knights of Ren,
he is the blade.
Along with the Skywalker Solo mashup there, you get Kylo Ren, canon from the comics.
That is canon. Yeah,
So you're gonna get a lot of stuff filled in now.
It's Star Wars. Love it. It's there. Like you said.
This is my critique.
Okay.
Yeah, he had to. I'll just give you a little information from the comic, and then we'll wind down. I think it's a great read. I've read, I guess you'd call it Chapter 1, Issue 1, and Issue 2. I think Issue 3 comes out pretty soon. But Kylo Ren has to take on a new name if he goes with the Knights of Ren, and this is the name he's chosen. So I think it's a really good read. I think y'all should give it a chance. But we'll get a lot of we'll get Palpatine's exactly what happened, like when his body fell.
Is he?
Maybe somebody, an acolyte, took that body.
Will we get a description of why they used Duel of Fates for the trailer?
That would be nice.
Oh, that's what
Colin
the title of
Duel of Fates. Oh, I think I remember seeing something like that.
For episode 9?
Yeah.
That was a rumor now.
That was the rumor title. Why you wanted that so bad?
No.
I did.
It's not unique or original.
I think George Lucas would have flipped this shit if he would have done that.
You did what now?
But
I'm chewing the Kylo thing a little bit more, but
talk to me about it.
well, no. I'm just kind of trying to become at peace with it, because technically speaking,
it's not what you would have expected.
He was pissed off at Luke, not necessarily his parents. He was trying to get away from his parents because he wanted a different direction, but not so much so that he hated them.
Because
that was his identity.
Yeah, and
that he was choosing anew. He was pissed off at Luke Skywalker. But his mother, while she technically wasn't Skywalker, she was daughter of Annie?
Yeah. So in the comic book, just real quick again, Snoke and Ben Solo are having a conversation. And Snoke is like saying some stuff to him, and he's saying, like, the Knights of Ren aren't going to take likely to Ben Solo, it's soon to be Jedi Knight. And Ben just says, I hate that name, Ben Solo, because he never, in his words, he never met Obi-Wan Kenobi, who he's named after, Ben Kenobi, right? He's like, I never met him, I didn't know who he was. Imagine trying to live up to one of the greatest Jedi to have ever lived, trying to live up to that. And then he said also, and then Han Solo, that's not even his real name. Yeah. It's a lie. He's a lie. All of this is a lie. And I urge y'all to read. I urge you to read. I think y'all would really enjoy it.
I'm going to.
It lends a lot more to the Kylo Ren character. I think.
No, I plan on reading because I love Kylo Ren. I just think he sent it when I was busy, and I just didn't have a chance to revisit it before this.
Yeah.
And I can't now because one of my phone continues.
So I think, Tim, if we could get something out of a comic or the novel on exactly how Palpatine was either transported or revived or, I guess, what do you call it? Reanimated to be what he is.
I really wish they could have gone with the clones thing from
the
Legends.
EU. Yeah, that would have been awesome too.
Especially if you use like what you were suspecting, that one thing where like it looks like she's kind of backing up in this creature, because we know that's not the throne, but in reality we know that was him like hanging from a metal structure of some sort. That maybe was somehow like dark ray and that she had to find herself.
It would have been awesome, right? If there was like 12, 13 other ones that were just hanging there and they were all like closing in on her. That would have been crazy too. All clones. But I digress. Anybody else have anything to...
She could have used that technique she learned in the beginning of the movie.
Which one was that now?
When she throws a lightsaber and it cuts the trees.
Oh, yeah. She could have used that.
Have you learned this trick?
Or do the Matrix staff kicks with the running.
Johnny Cage.
I don't know if we talked about it on the last, and maybe we could just bring it up real quick, talking about her lightsaber. That we were speculating that she buried Luke and Leia's saber. Mm-hmm. Even though Luke was trying to run away from Palpatine, or Tatooine, even though Leia never knew that as home. But anyway, she buried him on Tatooine, but we suspect that her lightsaber is being powered by both their kyber crystals.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I don't think we ever talked about that.
Mm-mm. You want to bring that up on the next one, or you want to talk about it now?
Well, if you're done.
What do you guys think?
You're going to have to wait.
You gonna do it now?
It's okay. It's up to you guys. We can do it later.
You seem keen on ending this episode.
No,
you said we'll talk about it later.
Because he.
For him.
No, I was just asking if y'all want to get in. I mean, I don't know. If you guys are
stuff.
It's him.
That's what I'm saying. It's up to you guys.
I just say something. You just go.
What you thinking?
Are you hungry or what?
No.
So, it has been episode 62
of
The Forced Folk.
No. Of the
Force
Choke
podcast.
We
are
the
council.
We
thank you.
Have
spoken.
We have
spoken.
Oh, I thought we were gonna be like we have
Facebook.
Dark side cookies. I don't know.
Cookies. Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
We are sorry.
We are
sorry that it turned out like this, and we are sorry because we are sorry.
We are sorry.
Sorry.
We're sorry that this episode has to end.
Come back again.
You can always rewatch this on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the stuff. We got stuff.
And the things.
And you can check it out on that stuff. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Whoa! Alright. Well, this was 62?
Episode 62.
We're going to be going to different places.
Are we?
Multitude of guests.
A plethora.
Plethora. Tim, you're going to line us up some guests this year? I got us venues. Mm-hmm. Probably 2 this year so far.
I don't know.
Tim's going to line us up with some guests.
I can make some attempts.
Tim's going to attempt some guests. And if you guys know anybody who wants to come on the show, friends, family, let us know so we can get them on. So far we've had Robert Stegall. Great guest. Thank you for...
Former teacher.
Thanks for inviting him on. He was a great guest.
Mm-hmm.
Micah. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Tell it to them.
It's a wrap.
Tim thought it was a crap.